Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So this weekend we had an anticipated domestic flyweight clash between Sonny Edwards and Galal Yafai. A fight in which Galal Yafai won in dominant fashion from start to finish, ending up stopping Sonny Edwards in the 6th round. Don't really want to talk about the fight too much, obviously. But the fallout from the fight has been interesting. Or the lack thereof, I should say. I'm talking about the lack of critical analysis, I guess, of Sonny Edwards' performance, attitude, and desire going into that fight with Galal Yafai. To me, the lack of effort, the lack of seriousness was unacceptable and unforgivable. And for me, that sort of attitude and energy should not be championed or celebrated or let off. I've seen so many soppy bastards reacting to Sonny Edwards in his last fight with Galal Yafai and, getting all emotive and saying, oh, it's so sad he went out like that. The corner shouldn't have let him fight after round 2, this, that and the third, kind of painting out Sonny Edwards to be some kind of, poor victim and whatnot. Well, the reality is this guy pulled off a heist. One last cash grab at the expense of the viewing public who pay, whether they be in the arena or pay for the zone. I'm sick of this attitude in the UK, this narrative. If you haven't boxed, you can't understand how hard it is for these guys. They're modern day warriors and gladiators. I don't care, that's what they're paid for. That's their job. And we support them via buying the product, buying the pay-per-view, buying the subscription, buying the tickets, etc. We support them, right? This is a two-way transaction. This is a two-way transaction. And whenever anybody complains about a product or they critique a fighter for their performance in regards to desire, attitude, willingness to win, etc., people get shat on. Oh, you haven't boxed before, so you can't complain. Or you don't know what it's like, so you can't complain. Well, define haven't boxed. Like, I've sparred. Like, what level do you have to get to before you can complain, before you can critique? When are you able to critique fighters? Is sparring enough? Or do you have to... Is maybe a white-collar fight? It's competitive, right? Maybe a white-collar fight. Maybe you have to have 7 amateur fights. Then magically, you can critique a fighter. Or maybe you have to have a pro fight. I don't know what the... It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's like an abusive relationship. The dynamic in British boxing between the promoters, the fighters, and the fans. And a lot of fans swallow this up. I see uploaders parroting this narrative. It's absolutely ridiculous. There are far braver people in society than pro fighters. I hate to break it to you. Across the world. There's 50-odd-year-old men on the front line right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Let's not go there. Bro, you're more likely to die working on a farm than you are in a boxing ring. That's facts. Or on a building site. Are we gonna have a virtue signal about how fucking brave electricians are? Or scaffolders? Or farmers? Deep sea fishermen? Like, where do we go with this? It's absolutely ridiculous. Sonny Edwards, he told you that he conned you. He told you after the fight. He told you during the fight. He conned you guys. He knew he wasn't going in there with the right mindset. He knew he wasn't going in there in optimum condition. He knew he didn't have a good camp. But his whole rationale was just to get one last payday. Fuck the fans, one last payday. That's not brave. That's not honourable. People say these fighters are modern day warriors and all that shit, but when you then hold them to that warrior kind of standard, then it becomes a problem. You can't hold them to that standard. It's just a throwaway phrase. It's just a virtue signal. And by championing guys like Sonny Edwards and saying what he did and how he performed was somehow honourable, just undermines the fighters out there who actually give us what we want, who show that bravery, who show that next level of heart when, a lot of guys would swallow. What Sonny Edwards did was a con job. It was a heist. And he's been able to get away with it. How far British boxing has fallen. But maybe it's a societal thing, you know. Sonny Edwards looked like such a victim in that fight. From the body language to the corner, he looked like a little victim. And you know, that's the type of behaviour now that has been pushed in media, has been pushed on social media. You know, if you're a victim, it's somehow virtuous. If you're weak, it's somehow virtuous. It's somehow brave to be weak and a victim. And you saw that with Sonny Edwards, the lack of reaction. People are just used to this type of shit now. And again, I go back to his trainer. Is that why he left Grant Smith? Because Grant Smith seems like a guy who wants to get results, right? He got Sonny Edwards to being a world champion. He trained him to becoming a world champion. And Grant Smith strikes me as the type of guy to take no shit, to not accept guys cutting corners. Was that why Sonny Edwards chose this Chris Williams guy, or Chris Williamson guy, whatever his name is? I don't even know his name. Some unknown trainer from Liverpool, who more than likely is going to come very cheap, by the way. Again, maximising that last purse from that heist. You know, he's not going to probably be on the same type of rate as a guy like Grant Smith, who is an experienced trainer who's got results. Plus Chris Williams, you know, he's now got Sonny Edwards, a former world champion. Despite how bad camp is going, I'm sure he's not going to read the Riot Act or, you know, put Sonny on the right track, because he doesn't want to lose him. You know, this is his golden goose. This is his meal ticket to get in the big time. So I've got criticism for his trainer as well. Yeah, you know, people are praising his trainer for his speech in between rounds, trying to, you know, motivate Sonny, and that was good, but what were you doing in camp? Like, you must have been able to see this guy wasn't in the right state of mind. He wasn't right physically to take this fight. Did this guy even try to, like, postpone the fight and get Sonny more time? Or was he just happy to get the payday? Was he happy to be under the lights? Was he happy to get his name out there? Well, I'm not impressed. I have to be honest. This whole state of affairs was a joke. From Sonny's performance, his attitude, to the trainer, to everything. Absolute joke. But, you know, these type of performances are becoming a lot more frequent in British boxing. We praise fighters for either doing the bare minimum or not even that. You know, I think you can praise fighters in losses. Absolutely. But there's this trend now in the UK of just accepting mediocrity, of accepting and praising weakness. You know? Because he didn't go above and beyond. He didn't. He didn't give it his all. He didn't. He told you that. And he knew that going in. And he knew he wasn't there to win. You know? That's it. So it's a heist. That's what that was. That's what we witnessed on Saturday night. And also, lastly as well, I have to say, I picked Galal Yafai to win, by the way. It's also unfair on Galal Yafai because he's trained his arse off. You know, going into the biggest fight of his career against the biggest name. And the conversation is about Sonny Edwards. So it's also, you're also robbing Galal Yafai of like more praise kind of thing. Does that make sense? But I have to be honest, I can't sit here and ignore what I saw from Sonny Edwards. You can't do it. If you say he was at his best in there, well, I don't know what to tell you. If you just want to ignore that for whatever reason, I don't know what to tell you. You know, things like this should be called out because it's blatant disrespect to the boxing fan, to the paying customer. It's blatant disrespect, but nobody, and even uploaders are so guilty of this. A lot of uploaders, like, nobody has our back. Nobody looks out for the actual paying customer. Nobody looks out for the actual fight fan. Because in my opinion, so many of these uploaders on YouTube just want to eat off the the gravy train, so to speak, you know? But yeah, it is what it is, man. Like, it is what it is. Again, maybe you guys think I'm being harsh. I don't think I'm being harsh enough, probably. I'm too compassionate. But the last question I would ask, like, genuinely, am I being over the top? Or am I the only one who's got a bad taste in his mouth after this fight? And I think the reason I've got a bad taste in my mouth is because I was actually looking forward to the fight. I was actually genuinely looking forward to it. But yeah, I mean, share your thoughts below. I've rambled on for far too long. Share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Del Boy. Peace.